Should investors care who they give their money to? And I'm not talking about the broker at this moment because I think you clearly need to care who you sort of give your money to. And in that particular circumstance, you always want to go with the most legitimate operation that you know of because people are going to run away and steal your money. They do that. That's like a legit thing that people actually do. But on the other side, should you care about who you actually invest in? I got a weird answer for this that you probably might not hear or never hear about. So, first of all, this is not investment advice, but this is just something that you should sort of think about, right? So, in my view, I don't care who I actually invest in. And there's a simple reason for this because I trust that they will fail. I trust that they will steal. I trust that they will do all of the bad things that will erode value in the long run. You sort of pick the thing. I trust somebody will get divorced. You pick those things. And if you actually look at real life in terms of how real life actually functions, all of that happens. So, because all of that happens, every sort of bad anomaly that you can ever think of that's going to destroy value in the long run, I don't know, somebody dies that they know of, and then they have to take 2 weeks off, right? You invested in an asset, you invested in a company, and there's five different members of that company, and they all have to take a week off because of that there was a death. And I apologize if this is crude, but that does destroy value, right, for the company because they got to take some time off. Now, should you care about that as an investor? So clearly, if you're only investing in that five-person shop, you're going to care. But if you're investing broadly and you diversify as much as you possibly can, I often just do index funds. I have mutual funds. Um, and it's very, very broadly diversified. I wish it was even more diversified in many different things. Then you don't care about individual assets so much. And you become a lot more generous with how you handle things because your money is not tied up in one particular asset. So um, I'm going to be upset and nervous and anxious, and I'm going to feel terrible, all of those sort of negative things if that person dies or somebody that dies close to that five-person shop and they all have to take a week off. But if you're heavily diversified, um, particularly as you get older and you have more and more assets, um, it doesn't matter about whether those people take some time off. Now, if they take 2 years off, yes, it will. But if they take some time off, it doesn't matter. So that's what I want you to sort of have this long term perspective because the only thing that really matters, I cannot predict who's going to be good at all of those sort of subtle things that you might think about, like political strategy or managing the short term cash flow, all those things. It's super hard to predict. But what I can predict is this long run growing trend over time that takes decades for it to mature in various different technologies and sort of things collectively. I can bet on that long run trend, and I could see that there is actually a long run trend that exists. But in the short term, it's extremely hard for me to identify those, who is going to do well in this particular circumstance or who's not. There's armies of people trying to see this stuff, both in academic institutions and as well as in the real world. And if you saw something, a trend that was very real, don't you think people would jump on that? And that's what I think about. Now, there are some things like behavioral anomalies, we're all greedy and all those kind of things, but there's always people that are smart enough to exploit those anomalies. Or there's algorithms that will see, computer algorithms that are agnostic to any of the feelings that we go through as investors. So, should you worry about who you invest in? And the truth is if you're actually worrying about it, and if you're paying that close attention to it, it means you're probably not properly invested, or you're spending too much in a particular area, and you probably should diversify even more and think about ways that you can diversify. So even if I'm building the reciprocity platform, right? So it's a small enough portion, it's still significant in my life. It's big and I still want it to happen, but it's a small enough portion that if anything was to happen, my family would be okay. Um, and it can be completely destroyed. And the fact is that it doesn't provide any value for me at this moment anyways. There's no investment value from this, and it's more of me building this thing out because I think it's important. I do not make that much money. I mean, like, I'm talking dollars, not tens of thousands of dollars, like dollars, from all of the activities that I've done so far. And so if I was worried about this, I would probably, I'd probably quit it, right? And it wouldn't be part of who I am. But because I'm not worried about it, because that I have this sort of leeway in my head that I could just say, yeah, nuts to this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to make sure that I do it. And I do it because I enjoy and whether you enjoy it or not is irrespect. It doesn't matter with the work. What matters is that the work actually gets done. But if you don't enjoy it, um, and if you're thinking about it, you're going to quit, right? If you're stressing out about this thing, you're going to quit. But if it doesn't matter and you get some joy out of it, then you're going to want to continue to do these things that are not necessarily, that don't provide value in the short term, but provide value in the long run. And I want you to think about that. Think about how you can diversify things. Think about how you can actually do well with what you're doing at this moment. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day.